LeBron James has spoken up about Colin Kaepernick's Nike campaign commemorating Nike's 30th anniversary of the Just Do It campaign. As we all know, Colin Kaepernick has been infamous for kneeling down during the national anthem in a sign of protest for police brutality, racial inequality, and other social issues. Of course, the NFL hasn't taken too nicely to it. Colin Kaepernick has been out of a job for like the past 2 to 3 years. And Nike came out of nowhere and explained that they've been paying Colin Kaepernick all along, and they want to make him the face of their Just Do It campaign. Colin Kaepernick's campaign is believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And that should hold a lot of reverence, especially in the minds of minorities who their ancestors and other people, abolitionists, for example, for times of slavery, they sacrificed everything because they believed in something. You see what I'm saying? So, though that really hits home for me, because it's like you're willing to lose everything if it means making a better life for other people. Like, even if you look at, for example, basketball, you look at somebody like Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson sacrificed a great deal so these players today can have trainers, they can have doctors, orthopedic surgeons, orthopedic doctors on staff, because the way that these guys used to play back in the day with chucks, they used to force them to play in horrible conditions. They would travel commercial and stuff like that. So Oscar Robertson did a lot of things for players today. So LeBron has come into the defense of Colin Kaepernick in a situation where, a lot of people aren't happy with this. They feel like Colin Kaepernick is defaming the flag and denigrating the symbol of the American flag, when in all honesty, kneeling is a sign of respect. And people don't know this. When Colin Kaepernick went to protest for the flag and everything like that, his teammate, which was in the military, said, you know what, that's a little too disrespectful. So instead of because Colin Kaepernick was just not going to show up for the national anthem, he was like, instead of doing something like that, why don't you kneel? Because that's a sign of respect. Even biblically and historically, kneeling symbolizes a plea for a new relationship. Many historical figures have knelt, including Jesus. If you think he's, the Messiah or whatever, I'm not going to get into that. But I'm just saying, that's a sign of respect, symbolizing a new relationship. So the origin of kneeling is not anything negative. It's actually positive. So it's funny how Colin Kaepernick's trying to do something positive, trying to bring light to issues that are very negative in this country, but he's getting a lot of backlash. People don't even know the genesis of what he's doing or how he's doing it. So it's never meant to be disrespectful. LeBron James is backing him, and he's backing what Nike's doing in terms of making him the face of their campaign, which is all fine and dandy. I just personally, the way I view the entire issue is, I wish Nike would have did this right when he was doing it. But, sometimes it takes a little while for somebody to jump on the horse or jump on the bandwagon or whatever the case is, because there is a racial divide, a racial inequality. There are a lot of issues going on here in America in terms of minorities, police brutality, how a lot of people aren't held accountable for the things that they do. For example, somebody will shoot an innocent person, but they won't. And this, honestly speaking, it happens a lot more to minorities, but this happens also in white America. This happens everywhere, where a cop or a person that's made to serve and protect can kill somebody, and they just put them on desk duty or something. Like, it's not, it doesn't sit well with me. And on top of that, some of these people are innocent. They didn't do anything. They get killed by the police, and it's just like it's thrown under the rug. So he's bringing light to this, and people are hating it. And I just simply wish Nike would have jumped on it a lot sooner, because this could really put a line in the sand and force a debate, and not just a debate, but a conversation. Of course, Donald Trump is completely opposed to this, but Colin Kaepernick did just do it. he just did it. He didn't talk about it. He wasn't like crying about it, like, oh, this keeps happening. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a stand if it means losing my contract, etc., etc. And Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl, guys. This is a guy that on his track, on his path, if he would have kept it up, he could have been on the path to win a Super Bowl. He could have been on the path to be an all-star quarterback. So this is something that's huge for a person to put their career on the back burner to sacrifice for the lives of many others. And you got to understand this with Colin Kaepernick as well. He has given suits to inmates coming out of jail, like guys that looking for jobs and they don't have the suits or the pedigree to get a job. He's giving them training, donated suits and stuff like that. So this is a guy that's really, this is his purpose. This is his calling. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people remember the summit with Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, and stuff like that. Some guys have a calling to do these things. And for Colin, this is a huge calling. And for LeBron James, this also seems like a calling where he is, he wore the Can't Breathe shirts and he's been speaking up about Trayvon Martin. He wore the hoodies. So these are things that I'm glad these athletes are pursuing. I just wish that corporate America wouldn't seize the opportunity to make it seem like we've been backing you all along when they haven't. I wish, like, as soon as the things hit, corporate America takes a stance right away, just like Colin Kaepernick did. But this is still a step in the right direction because this opens up the conversation. You got to remember, like, a lot of those marches Martin Luther King did, people thought it was negative. They thought that it was disrespecting the states and the states' rights, and a lot of things transpired. But what it did was it opened up conversations, and it opened up the eyes of the government and people like Lyndon B. Johnson, John F. Kennedy. It opened those politicians' eyes and it forced change for civil rights. So this is gonna eventually force a huge change in the way that maybe police deal with minorities or police handle their business going forward. Also, it should open up a change to millions of Americans that think that there is no problem with how minorities or the social issues that are going on in this country are handled. Because the absolute big problem in America is there's this a big sense of denial. Like there's no problem. There's no problem. It's just a hooligan acting up. It's just this, that, and the third. When somebody can kill somebody and the police tell them, do not pursue that person, do not follow that person, they follow them anyway and they end up killing them, I think there's a problem with the way how things are handled. When a person is going for a routine traffic stop and they get shot a bunch of times, or if it's just a simple situation and a guy gets choked out and he's dead and nobody performs CPR on him, but if it was like a different skin complexion, they would do that. They would do the very same thing, perform CPR on that person. I think there is a big problem there. I think, we have to admit there's a problem. And since the first step to any solutions and things in the future, especially for example, first step for alcoholics is admitting you have a problem, and then you could address the problem. So we, as Americans, we have to admit there's the problem. I think Colin Kaepernick jumped on board. Nike is admitting it. The NFL should admit it as well, because everything can't just be about viewership and about revenue. It also has to be, there's a social piece that you have to include in anything that's making billions of dollars. Even the NBA does NBA Cares, women equality and stuff like that. So, there has to be a social piece. The government has social pieces, social security. So NFL can't just outright ignore stuff like that. So that's where I stand on this situation. I'm glad these athletes are speaking up. LeBron, of course, has been strong stance on social issues. Colin Kaepernick, well, of course, he sacrificed everything because he believed in something. Hoops Junction. Hoops, me tupla. Like, comment, and subscribe.